It says it. We are live and we are here for you. Week 17 fantasy football instant reactions on the Audible. Cecil, Lammey, Sigmund, Bloom. And Sigmund, before we jump into the games, I want to have a very serious conversation. You know, I've been playing fantasy for a long time. Me since 93. You since around that time as well. This week sucks. All right. And I won't complain about it too much. Don't tune out right now. Please keep watching, like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. But like most of these games this week suck. And your fantasy leagues have really suffered from this. A lot of championships decided by crap games. So I feel that with the league not going to change, they're going to have more Christmas games. You see the numbers? 25 million people watching each Christmas game. The max on the day, I think 65 million different people watched. In the NBA, the total combined number of all the NBA games was like 12 million. All right. And then we can get an NBA ratings and why they're down and all that kind of crap. Or we could not. All I know is this. They make a bunch of flipping money. Okay. They're going to keep making flipping money. So you're going to have 3 Christmas games next year because it is on Thursday. You're going to have these Saturday games that were terrible, except for the Broncos game, which is a really good game. And then they lost. So that's not great, Bob, but like a really, really good game. That was fun football. But we have sat through crap and crap and crap and crap and crap. Crap on Wednesday, crap on Thursday, crap on Saturday, except one game. Mostly crap today. We're going to talk about the crap. We're going to recap the crap.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey, buddy, can you stop telling everything's crap, buddy? Sorry, Joe. But it's like, Bloom, you're the smart one here.
Sure.
You've got the brain. I've got the rage. That's why we got a combination here. So let's temper my rage. And my key is I'm always angry. But like, come on, brother. We got to have some ideas for the people out there because fantasy leagues are suffering and the NFL's not going to change this. And that means you're going to have crap football in week 18. You're going to have crap football in week 17. So what should fantasy GMs do? What should leagues do to maintain the fun? Man, this week wasn't fun fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I think that in the NFL's defense, the one thing I'll say in their defense is Pete Rozelle is not happy because we don't have parity. We don't have anything resembling parity this year.
Right.
We have haves and have-nots. And that's part of the story. Although not a lot of division titles were locked up, there's still a lot of teams with stuff to play for at the top. And we are at least seeing teams at the bottom, we'll get to this, spoiler alert, playing themselves out of the number 1 pick by winning meaningless games. So it isn't like every team is mailing it in. But I think you're right, Cease, that. And look, I started this campaign last offseason when I saw that there were going to be games on Christmas. I said, let's try to make week 16 the Super Bowl because then you don't have to be worried about fantasy football during Christmas. Our attention should be on our loved ones around Christmas. I mean, we're degenerates, but we're not that degenerate. Little did I know that looking ahead, week 17 would really resemble typical week 17s from the 16-game season, or like you said, week 18, where there's a few teams that are motivated. There's plenty of teams that are unmotivated. There are teams that are shutting players down, right? Chuba Hubbard was supposed to play Friday. He's supposed to play Saturday. He's on IR. So the calculus of teams, whether they're playing players through injuries or not, also changing. So really, what it makes is, again, fantasy football senseless. Now, maybe that's just the answer no matter what. But you're a storyteller, Cease. When you finalize, when you finish the story, you want to feel like that last chapter lines up with the conceptual continuity of like, what did this all mean? And when your fantasy football championship is decided by these more arbitrary random events, it makes it feel not very satisfying. Now, that being said, you can still say the justification here is, well, if you were good enough to win all the way up to be one of the last 2 teams to benefit from the crap, that's what you gained. You gained the right to, maybe crap wins you a championship if you can be one of the best teams in the first 16 weeks. But to placate everybody out there, to make us feel better, we've already talked about this behind the scenes, and I've mentioned it on the show, Cease. We're going to start a campaign because the schedule's not finalized for a couple of more months. We're going to start a campaign because fantasy football has done a lot for the NFL. Okay, I don't like saying things like this. We shouldn't pat ourselves on the back, right? But fantasy football has done a lot for the NFL. In fact, fantasy football is why we're watching crap games. I mean, just to bring this all full circle. Why is anybody watching a crap game? Because of fantasy football. Maybe because of betting, but fantasy football made that bridge, okay? So they can give us something back. because the reason everybody said, no, I don't want to have a week 16 Super Bowl this year was week 14 buys. That also feels unfair that you can't have one of your players strictly because of a buy in the playoffs. So if we can just get all the buys done by week 13, then we can have week 14, 15, and 16 as our fantasy football playoffs. And then Christmas time, we can just go back to being fans or bet on every game if you want. If you need the degenerate rush, that's okay. You know, we all are carrying our burdens in different ways. Then you can just bet on every game. Do your parlays, do all your first touchdown scores, first touchdown score, whatever. And let fantasy football, because it's for the people, and give Christmas and fantasy football back to games that matter. And we'll talk about some games that don't matter. If you want to know how to get involved, by the way, we're going to start this campaign, and we're going to make sure I want this to get to the NFL on behalf of the fantasy football community. Give us a seat at the table. No buys after week 13 next year.
Right. And the NFL's always succeeded in spite of themselves. They've been wrong on so many things, whether it's social commentary or whatever. They've been wrong, and then they get backlash, and then we totally care. Maybe that happens. I doubt it. And for me, Bloom, and full disclosure, I very embarrassedly say I didn't make any championships in my leagues this year. Now I'm only playing 4, okay? And I've limited that, but it was a rougher year for me and my Pat Mahomes summer stock. But anyway, so, and I'm not playing and I'm not bitter, but for me, it's just the randomness that is involved in leagues where I know I'm not the only one, where you spend so much time being so serious and preparing so much and looking to the right projections, looking to the right matchups, digging as deep as you can into one-on-one coaching tendencies, all that sort of thing. Like, and then to have it just show up, hey, I guess he's not playing this week, or hey, nobody's going to have any effort this week. Or maybe it's some garbage time in a blowout, and that's always part of it. So this is like complaining about how life is random. And I guess, we can't say that because life is random. But it's like, it just cranks it up to 11. That's why I don't like 2-week championships either, because I know people say, well, just have your championship both weeks and it's 17 and it's 18. And then you combine the crap. It's still crap. It's still a crap sandwich. So I'll get over it and we'll figure it out, and I'll be in championships next year. But it's like, I just hate the randomness, I guess.
Yeah.
When we're trying to plan and evaluate this thing. I also hate the like super important stuff happening Christmas week.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's a karmic dumpling, right? See,
Yep.
Because a couple of bad things happened this week. Again, one is Christmas is going on, and really, truly, Christmas is supposed to be, at least for a day, hopefully 2 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas, that you just put everything else aside and spend time with people that you love, creating some wonderful shared experiences. I got to play on a frozen pond with Noah because it was cold enough in Michigan. I'll always remember that. Frozen ponds are awesome. What better thing could be under the tree than a frozen pond with a bunch of sticks and rocks and snow, and you can mess around with? Anyway, that's what that is about. And then because of the nature of this week's injury news was dropping at any time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just read the practice reports and you're fine. At any time, now Tua, they've downgraded him to doubtful. Now Tuba Hubbard's shut down for the season. Oh, did you hear Anthony Richardson? Oh, it doesn't look like he's going to play, or maybe he's going to play. And there was so much uncertainty on top of that when, during the season, we at Football Guys, we're there for you, and we're going to do that in week 17 also. But it's just not fair to have such important fantasy football games hinging on a week that doesn't really look like any other week.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any other week. So you think we're good, Bloom? Should we start in on the games?
Yeah, we can start on the games. And again, I mean, I think this is one where hopefully we can persuade the NFL to see our view on this.
Yeah, something's got to happen because and I know our guy Alan was in the chat room earlier. Look at this. We got Alan Soslowski here, right?
Alan's the man, yeah.
What up, boys? He said he liked the games this week.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to talk about the silver lining here, but I think that you can just see that the portal opens up to a lot more variance in week 17 than we had any of the first 16 weeks.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Brad says playing hockey in your boots on a frozen pond is awesome.
I just liked skipping stones along the. I was skipping stones along the ice and then trying to hit other stones. And then we made a Santa face and tested to see if we would fall through the ice. We didn't, but the next day we probably would have.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Everybody exhale. I was actually studying Mayan spirituality about their word for namaste,
Mm.
which is the divine in me recognizes the divine in
Mhm.
you. So
Mhm.
like, okay, I'll be fine. We'll get over it. But let's get into this because yay, it's Buffalo and the Jets. Okay, 40-14 the final score. It was 40-0. All right. Full disclosure. This was a terrible game.
Yeah.
And in comes Tyrod Taylor, and he throws a couple of touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers throws a couple of picks before he's pulled. Isaiah Davis was fun to watch on his 3 carries. You know, Garrett Wilson with a great touchdown, 7 for 66 and a touch. Tyler Conklin, phenomenal route run, 8 for 57 and a touch. He also had a 2-point conversion. Devontae Adams had 5 for 47. Did he get 1,000? I'm not sure. That was the thing they were talking about on the broadcast, but it's like, all right, Jets, you know, how much is going to change? The reports from, I believe Ian Rappaport had it, but it's something that's been out there. So, you know, first by Ian Rappaport, yeah, about a month ago, you heard Garrett Wilson was going to leave if Aaron Rodgers stays. So
Right.
this is like, get it over with. And oh, our buddy Chase Stewart. Love you, Chase, man. Appreciate you. Your Jets stink.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it all for under the theme of what was it all for? What was this Aaron Rodgers era all for? First 3 drives, downs, interception on a Jordan Phillips, interception on a tip pass, and a safety. That was how the day started for the Jets. It didn't really get much better for Aaron Rodgers from there. We did see back to this more Braylon Allen. Breece Hall still looking good. He's going to be an interesting player to have to rate for fantasy drafts next year. Won't be a first round pick. We'll see who wants to go in on him in the second round. Garrett Wilson does get that tremendous one-handed touchdown catch from Tyrod Taylor. And, you know, you saw the way that Tyrod Taylor just threw it up for him. You wonder if Aaron Rodgers was willing to do that more, what Wilson could have done. Like you said, Tyler Conklin, if you had to throw in a what-the-heck tight end. So this is one of the fun things about such a random week. If you lost David Njoku, and you needed to get a tight end from the waiver wire, there's some choices out there. Some guys that came through. Foster Moreau scored. Payne Durham scored. Matt Waldman favorite. But if you picked up Tyler Conklin and you played Tyler Conklin, you will remember that forever. He could be the difference in your fantasy championship with that big game. But yeah, you're looking at the Jets with a top 10 pick. I guess we're looking at a new head coach, a new GM, a new quarterback, but not the one that matters, a new owner.
Yeah, that's where it starts. It all starts at the top. Buffalo. And let's talk about Josh Allen and the Lamar Jackson stuff. It's like, okay, can you have co-MVPs?
Right.
Really? Because what Lamar's done is on a level of only repeated by Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's only like 3 other quarterbacks in NFL history that are doing what Lamar does. And I kind of, maybe it's me, Bloom. I hate it's Lamar or Josh. Like,
co-MVPs. It can be both. And look, I'll put it this way, because our man Ian's cat asked me, and I said if I had to pick, I would pick Allen just because Lamar has Derrick Henry, and you know that's a better complementary piece to distract defenses than anything that Josh Allen has. And he came back with, he's a highly intelligent dude. He came back with a bunch of reasons that shouldn't matter, and he's right. And the bottom line is this: it's arbitrary. Both of these guys, whatever standards you have for the MVP, both of these players are having MVP seasons. In some ways, it's, here we are with fantasy football, right? It's our obsession with winners and losers. Someone has to be first. Someone has to be number one. Someone has to stand alone at the end. No, both of these guys have had singular seasons. And, you know, just to wrap up the Buffalo side, James Cook, this is where fantasy football, you got to pause and wonder sometimes these things that we all agree and believe on. James Cook falls to the 5th round because Josh Allen's going to get all the rushing touchdowns. And Josh Allen did get a ton of rushing touchdowns this year. He had another one today. James Cook is leading the league with 15 rushing touchdowns.
Whew.
So even though it wasn't a great day for James, that next year, Amari Cooper caught a bomb from Josh Allen. Josh Allen threw one up that was going to be intercepted, and Keon Coleman intercepted the interception, basically. Jumped in front of the 2 guys for a touchdown there. Mitchell Trubisky even threw one to Tyrell Shavers. So, yeah, when Tyrell Shavers and Mitch Trubisky are dunking on you, Jets, it's time to do some soul searching.
It's pretty bad. What about the Jaguars in the pregame warm-up when quarterbacks are getting out there warming up? They had a little like video board of the mascot boxing. I think it was supposed to be Will Levis anyway, and then the Jaguar got knocked out by the Titans, but the Titans themselves on the field said, no, no, no. Oh, Dikembe, missed you, buddy. They said, we're going to win 20-13, the final score. They are 4-12. Titans are 3-13. Mason Rudolph 1 up and 1 down, 193 yards on the day. Calvin Ridley 5 for 84. Chigio Okonkwo, love him, 5 for 42. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 3 for 37. That's what happens when he doesn't get a touchdown. Nick Vannett got that touchdown. Nobody started him. Tyjae Spears, we did know the Tony Pollard thing. So, like, on all the injury stuff, Bloom,
Right.
at least we knew ahead of time, like, okay, Pollard's not going to go. There was a little bit of question, and then all of a sudden it was very clear he's not going. And it was 20 carries, 95 yards for Tyjae Spears. I like the workload there. Of course, I'm a big Spears fan. But, yeah, not enough for the Titans in the end here.
Yeah, the Titans are cruising towards top 3-ish pick, but Mason Rudolph, it's showing that he's just a base level, replacement level backup. Tyjae Spears, what you like here is Tyjae Spears gets 20 carries, holds up. So we're looking at that 50-50 committee again next year. Tony Pollard still on a contract. Like you said, Calvin Ridley, and was it wasted money? I mean, now Will Levis isn't good. So if you didn't get Calvin Ridley, well, what if Will Levis wasn't good just because you didn't have a number one receiver? Of course, they trade DeAndre Hopkins during the season. So Calvin Ridley with whoever the quarterback is, at least they're back in range maybe to get a quarterback in Tennessee. Chigio Okonkwo, at least at the end, Mason Rudolph unlocks him. We'll see if he can do some more next year. But Cecil, I'll toss it back to you. What's the signature player? What's the how we win for Brian Callahan? What has Brian Callahan established, or what does he have to build around with Rand Carthon right now? Some of these teams that are picking in the top 5 seats, you can say, well, you can start here. Where do you start? Jeffrey Simmons? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, that's not a lot to start with. So they've got a lot of soul searching because it does start with ownership, Sigmund, but I also think it starts with identity. Why can Ozzie Newsome, who I think was one of the, if not the greatest general manager of all time, why did he know how to pick like Hall of Famers all the time? It's because he knew what he wanted and he knew who they were. The Steelers can plug and play players and the numbers change and the names change, but it's the same type of players because they know who they are. So the teams that draft great, they have an identity. With Tennessee, you just go, I don't know who they are.
No.
They want to run, do they want to pass? Who's their quarterback? We don't know. Like, at least you did get clarity on Levis, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse.
Right.
In football or in life.
What did we accomplish this year, Tennessee Titans? We made sure that Will Levis was a bad quarterback.
He's not the guy, right?
Take that off my to-do list.
Yes, that's okay, man. I mean, no, there's nothing worse in football or in life than wasting time. It's our most precious asset. We don't have a lot of it. So let's go Jacksonville. Mac Jones, 2 touchdowns. A resurgence here from Mac Jones. Maybe having a Sam Darnold type of resurgence. Whatever, won't get crazy, but still. Good to see him play some decent football. And Brian Thomas, love him. 7 for 91 and a touchdown. Parker Washington, always interested. 3 for 31 and a touchdown there. Travis Etienne, 15 for 49 on the ground. 1 for 26 as a receiver. So they get the win. Mac Jones throws a couple of touchdowns. We know it's about moving on from Doug Peterson and getting Trevor Lawrence healthy. So they've got things to build around. And Brian Thomas, it's like in Dumb and Dumber, he's got the IOUs in the briefcase, and he's like, Lamborghini, it's 150,000. Might want to hold on to that one. Brian Thomas, pretty good. Lamborghini, might want to hold on to that one.
Yeah, that's a signature player right there.
Oh yeah,
it all along was a big 4, not just a big 3. And we knew that Brian Thomas had a similar ceiling to Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, his college teammate. All those guys from Southeast Louisiana, by the way, Chase, Jefferson, not just going to LSU, but they're all from down here. Wide receiver, cradle of civilization. So Brian Thomas Jr. and elevating Mac Jones. First time we saw Mac Jones this year, he looked like one of the worst backups in the league. Now, like you said, he's showing some bridge quarterback qualities. Brian Thomas Jr. can help with that. not a costly win so much when you have Trevor Lawrence, and we've wasted time on Urban Meyer, end up wasting time with Doug Peterson. Don't know if we're wasting time with Trent Baalke, but at the very least, there's some hope to get what you hoped for from Trevor Lawrence when he was one of those generational quarterback prospects. Travis Etienne, I think they did pick up the fifth-year option, but he's not even clearly better than Tank Bigsby, but you got that split backfield. And this is where you're at now, Jacksonville. You just keep hope alive as long as you have Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. And Carolina, you got Bryce Young. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when there's a lot of bad football and there's no parity, well, you just have to go, do we know we got a guy? Do we have a guy? And with Bryce Young, you've got a guy. Now, where's the upside for him? That's a different conversation, but you know he's not a bust. 48-14, Tampa Bay wins. That was a bust today. Tampa Bay 9-7, Carolina 4-12. Let's talk about Young with 2 touchdowns, 203 yards passing. Of course, no Chuba Hubbard, as we know. Raheem Blackshear, and I got some Blackshear and Boone questions. And it's like, well, they're going to split time, and neither really going to blow you out of the water there. Adam Thielen, though, 5 for 110 or 2 touchdowns. There you go. Jalen Coker, again, put a pin in it. Love Xavier Legette, put a pin in him. So there's some talent. Like, if we just talk about foundational, are the cupboards most bare in Tennessee?
Right.
Like, seriously, because look at what Carolina, we just talked about Jacksonville. Look what Carolina has. Some stuff to work with here.
Yeah, and Bryce Young, even though 48 got put on the Panthers, not a lot for fantasy here, unless he was throwing to Adam Thielen. So Thielen off the scrap heap and winning championships for folks. No running game to speak of. And I guess what we'll remember about this Carolina season, and remember this for future seasons, there were points in the first month or two of the season, folks saying, well, they don't even have a quarterback. Dave Canales, you were hired to make something out of this guy. And we got impatient. We saw some Andy Dalton. And who knows if Andy Dalton was in a car accident, right? Another one, Mark Andrews, these car accidents that we got the door back open to Bryce Young. And then you saw confidence. You saw the mobility. You saw the anticipation. You saw the accuracy, all the things we saw back at Alabama. And again, Cecil, it's something we talk about all the time on the show. Confidence. When Bryce Young was not playing with confidence, you didn't see any of those qualities. You see them all come back. And then, yeah, you have Jalen Coker. You have Xavier Legette as these pieces that can grow with him. And this team is also going to get a top 10 pick. And they'll try to play spoiler against Atlanta next week.
Because we're the old heads, Bloom, we should call that rule like the Moats rule.
Yeah,
because it was about Ryan Moats.
Moats,
when we learned that, because Ryan Moats had incredible talent, and we're asking, I think you asked one of his teammates at one of our bowl games, and he was like, yeah, he just didn't believe in himself.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's a life lesson there too. Yeah.
There is. Speaking of life lesson, don't mess with our guy, Josh Johnson. We still got a Draft Guys TV alum in the NFL. His name's Josh Johnson. So Joe Mixon, no. And remember who Josh's cousin is. This is my son. So there you go. A little love. Always love. It was so great to see Josh when he was with the Broncos. It was just like, wow, Josh Johnson.
Still doing it.
Yep, still doing it. Love it, man. You get there how you get there, right? So let's talk Tampa Bay side, because the Baker Mayfield story. If this is not a flipping life lesson, then I don't know what is. So grab your crotch and plant your flag and go throw for 5 touchdowns and 359 yards. And Mike Evans, 8 for 97, 2 touchdowns. And Jalen McMillan, 2 touchdowns, 551. Awesome. Payne Durham, as you mentioned. And as we continue to watch Bo Nix struggle, it's a Broncos show, to connect with Troy Franklin, the duck that you wanted was Bucky Irving. The duck that you wanted was Bucky Irving. This is what you need Bucky Irving for. 20 for 113 on the ground. He's not done. 4 for 77 as a receiver. I mean, Rachaad White is nice. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a good young man. He's not real good as a starter. Bucky Irving's your playmaker. And Tampa Bay, you can make some noise because you got guys like Bucky Irving out there.
Yeah, we don't know as of right now. Atlanta can still, Michael Penix, we have that story unfolding. Yes. Atlanta can still, they beat Washington and they beat Carolina next week. Atlanta can still win this division. But boy, wouldn't it be fun to see Baker Mayfield in the playoffs. And we can start with Baker Mayfield as a massive story here, because it wasn't for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson playing at otherworldly levels. Baker Mayfield is putting up maybe not truly MVP numbers, but just astronomical passing numbers. For fantasy, that matters. But also, again, if there is a precedent for Bryce Young, it is Baker Mayfield, where the league just looks at you after he crapped out in Carolina. The Rams pick him up, and a chance encounter with Liam Cohen leads to this. And here's Baker Mayfield saving a franchise, but not the Browns. As the news this week, by the way, that Deshaun Watson restructured his contract. It's the least he could do. But Baker Mayfield, at some point in the season, you drafted Baker Mayfield as your number 2 quarterback. And unless you had a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen or a Jalen Hurts, maybe a Jaden Daniels, you were thinking, I guess I should be starting Baker Mayfield. For a lot of fantasy teams, realizing maybe even after week 1 that Baker Mayfield was your best fantasy quarterback was a key to success this year. Throwing to Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, and you heard in the preseason training camp that he had veteran poise, even though he was a rookie. Didn't quite see it as first, but you see it now as he's scoring touchdowns. Baker Mayfield's just looking to him in those parts of the field. And then last, Bucky Irving. What I have written in my notes is a star is born. A star is born with Bucky Irving. And this is chapter 2 of Kyron Williams, where you look at the measurables. Jawan Jennings belongs in this conversation. If you look at the measurables and it looks like a player that should have a line through them on your draft sheet based on thresholds, but you watch the tape and you say, that's a player, trust the tape. Trust the tape. Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving, Jawan Jennings running in the 4.7s. No 4.7s wide receiver can make the NFL. Watch him on tape. Does he look like a 4.7 receiver? Watch Bucky Irving on tape. Does he look like somebody who doesn't have baseline NFL agility or speed? Come on. So Bucky Irving, another big reason that people won this year. And we'll see Tampa can get this show to the playoffs because this passing attack is in it against anybody in any game.
Yes, and there have been plenty of others, Bloom, as you mentioned, but I will say it for our dear friend Philip Lindsay. It's the Philip Lindsay rule, right? Too small, too slow, too whatever. Can he play? Now, It didn't last as long for Phil. Injuries caught up real fast, but it's like, yeah, can you play? Or can you not play? That's the difference maker in the National Football League. What do the Raiders do? Jason, our buddy, pot stoner degenerate, Greeley, he's around. He's happy, right? He's got his Bang energy drinks and his gummies, and he's going to town tonight because his Raiders won. And 25-10, the final score against New Orleans. They're 4-12. The Saints are 5-11. I don't know with Aiden O'Connell. Like, full disclosure, I like Aiden O'Connell as a developmental quarterback. Is he just a good backup? Yeah, maybe. Is he going to get a shot next year? Maybe, like compete with a rookie in camp, but they've also won too much to be in play for Shedeur. They could always move up. Cam Ward is going to be in the conversation. Somebody else will squeak in and won't be Carson Beck. But there will be like 2 or 3 first-round quarterbacks, and the Raiders will be sniffing around. Amir Abdullah, man, 20 for 115. Finally. Is this his first 100-yard game on the ground?
Probably.
Seems like it. Anyway, and Brock Bowers doing amazing things. 7 for 77 in this one. Jacoby Myers, 5 for 61 and a touch. Abdullah also, by the way, 3 for 32. Trey Tucker getting a touchdown as well. So, all right, Raiders, you won. I don't know the pieces there outside of Brock Bowers offensively and what you're building around.
Yeah, that's the thing is matchups. Again, those leverage points that you win games on. Hey, Aiden O'Connell, we should make up a term for this. That backup quarterback who's just good enough to preserve the value of the other players. He's did that with Brock Bowers. He's done that with Jacoby Myers. And then Amir Abdullah had a great game, left with a foot injury. So for week 18 DFS, any week 18, the 2-week championships that Cease talked about, maybe Alexander Madison, Zamir White, nowhere to be seen. That's been a bust if you saw that one coming. By the way, Brock Bowers gets into the record book. And next week we'll have a chance to maybe get into a few more records. Falling in the top 10, playing the Chargers next week. Chargers, by the way, Cease, it's a Steelers fan if it isn't sad enough this week. If the Steelers lose to the Bengals, who are still very much alive, then the Chargers can be the number 5 seed. The Steelers have to play Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs.
Good luck with that. And if you're Kansas City, we'll do a preview show on Thursday. But if you're Kansas City, you just lay down.
Well, but hey,
unless
now
you
I say that because you
knock somebody off.
Well, you don't want Joe Burrow in the playoffs, right? Like you lay down because you don't want Joe Burrow in the playoffs. But if Joe Burrow gets in the playoffs as the number 7 seed, his first game will be at Buffalo, and he could take out Josh Allen for you.
Curious.
Just thinking out loud.
Very curious.
Mahomes not going to play though, so yeah. Carson Wentz, you're our only hope.
Yes. All right. Spencer Rattler is not good at football.
No one's hope.
No one's hope. Although he had 46 yards on the ground. He's plucky, right? 218, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. Juwan Johnson with the devil, get out of here. 6 for 66. Box score. Foster Moreau, 3 for 47 and a touch. Dante Pettis. Wow. Kendre Miller, that didn't work out, huh? Okay. Because I believe, Bloom, some of the questions I got, our buddy Mike Agnew, who's listened to us forever, Mike, and Mike has my phone number. You don't need to tweet me, bro. Just text me. But Mike, who's listened to the Audible for probably 15 years, he messaged me, and I believe his question was like one of the Carolina backs or Kendre Miller. I was like, well, they're going to split time. Miller should get everything. No, not the case. Saints couldn't even show up today at home.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, it's a beautiful day. See, it's like 70 in New Orleans and the sun is out. And all the New Year's festivities are coming up. So come on, who can really go to the Superdome and care about that? But Spencer Rattler to the tight ends, Foster Moreau catches a touchdown, Juwan Johnson. Actually, Kendre Miller with a concussion in this one. And Saints, remember, see how much happens in a season. At one point, the Saints were 2-0, and many, including myself, said this might be one of the best offenses in the league. And here's where we end up.
Here's where we end up is Dallas and Philadelphia. I really just want to talk about Saquon. We're going to talk about the Cowboys first. So let's get them out of the way. And they were enough in the hunt, so it was still Cooper Rush and not Trey Lance. Me, as a futuristic evaluator, is like, just take a look, man. No. Do you really? And I guess by not playing him, we know, right? Is there anything there with Trey Lance? No. Because they can't even play him. Rico Dowdle, though, 23 for 104. 23 for 104. So nice job there. And it's funny. And so one of our friends had it on Twitter, Bloom. Forgive me, I can't remember right now. But they said, isn't it funny that, Kellen Moore gets run out of Dallas because they want to run the hell of the ball, and then he has a 2,000-yard rusher. But Dallas has Rico Dowdle. So again, they still need to be in. This is a great running back class, by the way. In the 90s, we'd say choice. You remember that word, Bloom? Choice, like grade
Primo.
A choice. Yeah. Primo, yeah. It's a primo class at running back. Let's break out our 90s parachute pants and Janko jeans and skateboards. Yeah, man. It's a great running back class. If you got Rico Dowdle, that's awesome. Still got to draft another guy.
Yeah, Cooper Rush with a pick six, playing better in recent weeks. A pick six to open this game. CD Deuce, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Rico Dowdle had a 100-yard game. Rico Dowdle showing he isn't just a running back by default. Like you said, probably joined with someone else, probably with a better pedigree. But you saw that, another Jalen Tolbert touchdown. I mean, this is a mediocre team. They got a mediocre coach who secured his job, Mike McCarthy. And yeah, Dallas. I feel like we're back to the Bill Parcells, Vinny Testaverde days. It's not even fun to hate Dallas when they're mediocre.
Yeah, just mediocre. It's like, yeah, all right. It is fun to root for Saquon Barkley. Now, full disclosure, I will make sure to use his full name and not his nickname, as I did one time on the air when I said, I love Dick. Eric Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
Big Al laughed at me so hard. He laughed at me so hard. And the Big Al laugh, there's only one laugh like Big Al. God bless him. But yeah, man, I grew up loving Eric Dickerson and Walter Payton, my favorite player of all time. And 2105 is a special number to me. Really don't want Barkley to get it. That's just my personal opinion. I love Saquon Barkley. It's refreshing to see him with this new team have a 2,000-yard season. Do the math, Bloom, because I'm bad at math, like however many yards he needs against his old team. Now it'd take an extra week, but because we could go back to 2003, not the year, but the number that O.J. Simpson had in 14 games when he had 2,000 yards. Eric Dickerson, I believe it was 16 when he got 2105. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now it's 17 if Barkley breaks 2105. But just a story, man. And Jalen Hurts, if you listen, if you listen, Jalen, because Kenny Pickett's not great, Bob, and gave us a meme throw. Thank you, Kenny. Tanner McKee, I don't know if you saw where the first touchdown, A.J. Brown throws it in the fans.
Right.
And then he's like, oh my God, that was Tanner's
first NFL touchdown.
And he asked the dude, and it's total Philly, bro. It's a total Philly, bro. He's like, I got you. Because he gave him his jersey.
Yeah.
He's saying the jersey for a football from Tanner McKee. Hell yeah, man. So good on that guy. You love that fan interaction, man. It was really fun. And in another game that was a blowout, because this, did I even say it was 41-7?
Right.
I don't know. Just terrible games all around. Whatever. I'll get over it. But love to see Barkley do his thing, Brown, Devontae, all that kind of stuff. And hey, Jalen, just get your head right. Okay, it's a brain bruise. You want to be very careful with that. And then just listen to your teammates. You're not I'm above the law. Like, you are not above your team. You're part of the team. And if Jalen listens, not a lot of teams going to want to play Philadelphia.
Yeah, this team, unfinished business, a play from winning the Super Bowl, basically, and they're ready. And I have a little trivia question for you, C. So hold on a second. But Kenny Pickett actually made some plays in this one before he left with a rib injury. Devontae Smith was a big game. Deron Bland was shadowing A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown to get that touchdown. So it wasn't a total bust if you had him. And probably the number 2 seed. I think, depending on how things go, I don't think there's a path for them to get the 1 seed without a tie with Minnesota and Detroit. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Here's the question, C. Name 2 of them.
Okay.
Saquon Barkley becomes the 8th running back. Running back. Who were you name 2, Dickerson and Simpson.
Okay, let me go. Simpson, Dickerson, Terrell Davis,
yes,
Barry Sanders,
yes,
Jamal Lewis,
yes,
right? Oh boy,
it's now in the nickname.
Barkley,
the nickname. It's in the nickname.
It's in the nickname. It's in the nickname. Why am I dropping the ball? Why am I dropping the ball? It's 2,000 yards. We don't see it very often.
It starts with a C.
It rhymes. 1,000. We started with 1,000. Why am I dropping the ball? I'm totally dropping the ball. CJ2K. That's right. CJ2K.
Chris Johnson.
I think I'm missing one other.
Yeah, just one.
Okay, tell me who it is.
Derrick Henry.
Oh, of course. Yes. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So yeah, almost got them all.
I mean, that's an incredible. That's like, those are the people that make watching the NFL fun, you know?
And in a pass happy league, I honestly didn't think we'd see 2,000 again.
Well, and that's why 17 games, okay, look, just enjoy greatness, enjoy good things when they're happening, because Simpson, Dickerson was a different era. Okay, rushing yards came as a slice of the pie for offenses. The run game was a much bigger part of the offense. So it's just really awesome to watch what Saquon Barkley has done in the throwback uniforms. And yeah, this Philadelphia NFC playoff bracket wide open.
Wide open, baby. Wide open. Let's wrap this thing up. We got one more game. And of course, it's another terrible game because that's what we get. 45.
And the Drew Lock is a superstar.
45-33. The Giants beat the Colts. Okay. So there's plenty of fantasy points here. And again, I apologize. Don't tune out because I'm saying everything's terrible. It's a terrible game. Let's talk about Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson. The Colts are 7-9. Is Anthony Richardson their guy? And I'm going to say no, not stubbornly, Bloom. And with new information, we can form new opinions. But Richardson and the physical stuff, I don't care about. I don't care. He's super big and he's super strong and he can super run and he's got a super arm. He doesn't know what he's looking at. I don't care about the physical with Anthony Richardson. That he's got it, it's great. And if it ever clicks for him, it's great. And other young quarterbacks, say Josh Allen, say whoever you want, that have had the similar skill set, they've figured it out. Yes. But there were also glimpses. Matt Waldman always brings up Lamar Jackson was an advanced passer at Louisville. Yeah. Y'all missed it. And that's something that people missed and you should not have. So this is not a Lamar Jackson situation. It's not at all. Okay. So if we've learned like Will Levis isn't the guy, did we learn Will Levis is not Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Anthony Levis? Did we learn that he's not the guy? Because I don't think we have. And that sucks for Indy.
Yeah.
That sucks because you're kind of cornered in, okay, well, we've got a first round quarterback who's got a lots of skill set. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's ever going to click. I know he's never going to stay healthy.
Well,
So congrats.
and I think the difficult part here is the plan always was, I mean, how many starts did Anthony Richardson have in college? You know,
Sure.
the plan always was that you were going to let him learn on the job. Then he got hurt last year. So there's this sense coming into second year that there should be progress, but the progress was going to come with the reps on the field and learning what he's looking at. And you did see that kind of progress even over that full season at Florida, as Matt Waldman chronicled that. But then again, the confidence issue comes in. Is he benched? Is coming from on high? What do his teammates say? And hopefully we can have a off season without controversy, and he can just work with his teammates and go into next year with this idea that he is going into next year with the idea they're going to find out what they have. But let's not say what's after 4 games or 6 games, 8 games, whatever. Give him the whole season, because it may take time if he has the full confidence of the team behind him, like Jordan Love did last year. For fantasy, you saw Joe Flacco, Josh Downs in. Josh Downs had at least 6 catches in every game with Flacco. Not this time. It was Alec Pierce, he of the contested catch, and Michael Pittman with a good contested catch. Jonathan Taylor got a little banged up. And again, Indy out of the playoff race now. So will we see him next week against Jacksonville? We'll see. A little banged up, though, but Jonathan Taylor comes on with some big games here at the end of the year. And congratulations, Indianapolis. You helped the Giants play themselves out of the number 1 pick. Destiny changing. See, sliding doors stuff here as Drew Lock has the best game of his career. Drew Lock all of a sudden figures out how to use all the considerable tools and talent he has to create fantasy points, to create points on the scoreboard, to create a win exactly when the Giants didn't need it.
Yep. They're staring at Shedeur Sanders, who that Alamo Bowl wasn't great. And there are growing concerns about Shedeur that we'll get into during the offseason. I will reveal those. Of course, I'll be around Shedeur all week at the Shrine Bowl. So it'll be interesting there to learn more about that young man. Super talented passer, not a runner. I kind of chuckle when people are like, Shedeur Sanders can run. No, he cannot. He is not a runner at all. But he's really smart. He can slice you up from the pocket. So that's the quarterback you were looking at, number 1 pick. Still probably going to be the number 1 pick. Cam Ward at the Senior Bowl is going to be interesting as well. More of the physical, more of the runner, more of the, potential and upside and all that kind of stuff. And Ward's done it in a couple of different spots. So a conversation to be had a little bit later. But you're talking about that number 1 pick. Drew Lock's just like pisses all over your number 1 pick. Sorry, Joe. I got a buddy texting me about Locke, and I was like, listen, he's a nice guy, and I really like him, and I like his family a lot, but, he's a backup. I don't think he gets that Sam Darnold shot again. But when you got Malik Neighbors, that's really what the story is, Sigmund. Like, Malik Neighbors so upset he was asking for a trade as a rookie, but you can get him a quarterback. But now you just made that more difficult because Drew Lock threw for 1 million yards and 1 million touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, that Neighbors can put up numbers with a quarterback like Drew Lock. And, we thought Tim Boyle was the best quarterback he was going to play with for the rest of the season. And Tyron Tracy still looks good. Not a big fantasy game, but best is yet to come for him. Remember, he is a wide receiver convert. And that's it. I mean, the destiny angle here, though, because their strength of schedule, I think that a lot of bad teams would have to win next week for them to move back up even into the 1 or the 2 pick. I think they played themselves out of that pick, and great for everybody who had a fun afternoon to remember. Giants, that's not Giant Stadium anymore, whatever it is, but it changed the destiny of the franchise. Now, it was great that they punched their way out of the corner finally against a Colts team that just looks tired. I guess if Jim Irsay is the owner, you're just going to be tired at the end of the season. And the Giants woke up to ruin a dream of the number 1 pick. And hopefully all of your fantasy football dreams came true. But hey, if you're here still listening right now, first of all, thank you. Don't ever take this for granted. And we're going to be doing previews of week 18 and playoff previews. And of course, we're going to be there with draft coverage, free agency, combine. I mean, we love it. Cecil coined the term non-playing season because it doesn't ever really end with football. It's part of why we like it. But at the same time, we know that it's good to recharge. And if we don't hear from you for a while, not only do I understand, like, good for you, we'll still be here.
Yeah.
Thank you folks so much for joining us on this journey. And the whole time you're powering us. So we really can't do it without you. I'm glad we can bring something into your lives. Just a fraction of the positivity that y'all bring into our lives every day. So win a football championship, fantasy variety or not, it is great to spend time together. And in the end, that's what this is all about.
That is what it's all about. We are entering year 20 as the calendar flips this week. Now, officially, it'll be in April because our draft preview show was our very first show, The Audible, back in 2006. But entering year 20 of this show, it feels great, baby. And we are there for you.
If we get to 25, I'll do a moonwalk like Michael Jackson, Motown 25.
Oh, we're getting to 25. 30, I'm not sure.
30, I'll do the moonwalk in my wheelchair.
I was going to say 30, I plan on being on a beach, right near the beach, boy.
Yeah.
Part of Escondido. Look it up. Anyway, that's where the feds will come looking for me, Bloom. I tell you, we're going to have a Shawshank moment where I'm just building a boat on a beach and you walk up to me and then we like hug it out, right? Just all the great memories doing this show together. We certainly appreciate everybody. We're going to be doing preview shows. We're not going to be doing recap shows. Let us know in the comment section. Do you want live shows or do you want pre-recorded stuff? We can do both in the off season when we're doing more newsy shows, more drafty shows. Of course, we've got Snorkel. Almost screwed
Scuba,
up. Submarine. That's coming for your Dynasty leagues. That'll be just as soon as the waivers open up in Dynasty here at the end. So lots of good stuff. But just let us know in the comments you like the live better or pre-recorded. We may do, because I've seen other popular YouTube channels do it, where we do like a large live show and then we cut it up into bite-sized shows for the week. So tell us what you like. Comment section down below. We appreciate your feedback there as always. Brad's already voting. Brad didn't take long for Brad. He's like, live.
Let's get the band together.
Let's do it live. All right. We appreciate everyone. He is Sigmund Bloom. Follow him on X at Sigmund Bloom. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying, we're all the Audible, man. 20 years. Let's get it on. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And would you always stay frosty?